Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy weekend. Welcome to segment 2 of the RP Show, episode 6 here on Access Now TV. So proud to be with you for another weekend. Saskatchewan's favorite sports talk show is right here. Keeping it rolling with the head coach of the Regina Thunder football program, Scott MacAulay. And this is really going to screw things up, Scott. If all things were normal, you would be going into your 9th season as the head coach of the Regina Thunder. But technically, if all things go well, it would be your 8th. Am I right?
Yeah, like we started in 2013, kind of took over the team at that time.
Yeah.
And so I guess it'd be 7 years and going into my eighth season now.
Well, and highly successful. I mean, we got some things to talk about here today, but before we get to that, I'm really interested in the football coaches of programs that didn't play and leagues, and there's a lot of them in Canada. So can you take me through what the pandemic's been like, and then we'll look ahead?
Well, I think it's been taxing mentally and physically for everybody involved. You know, like you're constantly as a volunteer, which all like most football coaches in this province are. You know, you're constantly trying to maneuver around with the SHA sanctions changing. You're trying to. I've always been proud of our ability to be very organized and thought through everything as the year's going to progress. But then you're constantly changing things, and then it starts changing on from a monthly basis to a weekly basis to almost a daily basis.
Yep.
Based on people's interpretations of the rules. So it's been as a football coach, it's been taxing. But at the same time, like I love the game, I love the organization, and still having that opportunity to be around the boys and lead them in some sort of capacity has been good for myself. But on the flip side, also like you also now have to. Really spend a lot more time like taking a look at the players and where they're at mentally. I think when the pandemic first started, there's a lot of guys that were mad and upset. And then eventually that turned into like sadness. And then with us, at least we were able to do some things virtually and keep the guys engaged with whatever kind of projects we could do. And then eventually everything started to loosen up. We got back together on the field doing some small group workouts, and then eventually we could actually have like a real sort of training camp. And we were originally going to go for 2 weeks, but ended up going 5 weeks, and it was outstanding. The guys are having a blast together, being together. Again, we're following the rules where nobody was using the locker room. We were taking their temperatures, wearing masks where we had to wear masks, making sure they're washing their hands, things like that. But we had 5 weeks of football and just being together as a team, and I think that really helped them out mental-wise. But since that was back in October, now when everything sort of got shut down again and things tightening up, now we got all these guys that are looking for that structure and they're looking for that guidance, and they're 18 and 22 years of age. And to me, you're out of high school, you lost that structure of somebody being there and making sure you're in class or going to school, and now they're either going to university where no one's taking attendance, or maybe they're trying to start a new career, or they're just trying to figure out what to do in life. They don't really have that structure that they're used to, and it's a very vulnerable time when they're moving from school to possible work, and should they do this, should they do that? Like it's a tough time for the guys, and now they're home by themselves and we can't do anything. Meanwhile, my sons that are 18 and under are able to practice in groups of 8, and now maybe have 2 groups of 8 on the ice with 2 coaches. But my organized team that we're taking temperatures and following the rules and everything's in place are unable to do things. So it's been frustrating for them.
Because the virus can tell the difference between whether you're 19 or 17, is what we're led to believe. So can I just interject and ask what's happening for what would have been your graduating seniors in 2020? Are they pushing it? Are they getting another year like university?
So yeah, those guys are lucky. All our 5th years are now going to get their 6th year or their 5th year back. And they even did the same thing for the 4th years. The 4th years are going to get their 4th and 5th year back. I think it's a great thing, especially for our 5th years, to get that final year and go off on a high note that they deserve. But really, at the end of the day, someone's getting screwed over, right? Let it be the next group coming in. Let it be the 3rd-year guys that maybe be moving into a starting role. You got to kind of pick your poison. But I'm really happy that they made the decision about the 5th years getting their 5th year back.
So how does that affect the front end then of your recruiting class?
So like with recruiting wise, like I think we've been pretty lucky. We've had the opportunity to, maybe the universities aren't going after as many of the best players out there, and so we're able to snag some of these guys that maybe potentially would have went youth sports Or the other thing too is I think that it's allowed us to bring in 2 recruiting classes and really focus in on the areas of need. I think before we kind of did like a real blanket sort of approach, but now that we've been able to really sit back, look at our roster, know who's still there, who's coming back, we've been able to really focus on, our needs. And I'm really happy with the recruiting class we've been able to bring in. And I think that, they're going to have immediate impact and our team's going to be stronger. But you bring in 2 classes and you already got 85 guys on the roster. I was looking at yesterday, if we were to have a spring camp tomorrow, we would have about 140 guys. If I took all our veterans and the guys that I've already committed to, we're around the 100 mark. Well, we can only carry 80 to 85 guys. So some tough conversations and some tough decisions are going to have to be made to make sure that we're still able to move forward and keep that constant level of being one of the top tier teams.
Crappy part of a job, especially for a volunteer. It's crappy for a guy getting millions to make those decisions.
Yeah.
And you're a volunteer.
Never fun discussions.
No. Oh,
keep you up at night.
I don't envy you on that. So what do you know about a season for the PFC in 2021?
Well, I think with the way the vaccines are rolling out, I think that I have a very optimistic that there's going to be a season. I know I talked to one of our MLAs and I was kind of trying to get an idea of like what their thoughts were, and they said, "Well, it's out of our hands. It's up to the white coats or the lab coats," and he's right. But at the end of the day, like he felt that as of today, he's the most optimistic he's ever been that we're going to be able to get back to some sort of normalcy by the end of May, start of June. And I really hope, you look at Alberta, they announced yesterday that the varsity teams, which I think is maybe your junior teams or whatever, and university programs are able to start practicing again. So I'm hoping that's what's next for us. Like, God knows that these 18 to 22-year-olds that are in this vulnerable stage need to have something to look forward to. And the fact that we can get 8 guys, on the field together doing some sort of football or something they love and doing those mental checks is going to be huge. But in regards to a season, our league's been pretty good. There's 3 schedules. There's a normal schedule that has more buys. So in case a team is affected by COVID or the variant, and they got to take a week off, then we can play those games or remake those games up during the bye weeks. But then there's a second schedule that's a bit of a shortened season. It might be 6 weeks that would start, say, later in September. And then also I know that Murad Al-Khatib has made a deal with the president of the Saskatoon Hilltops that if things all go completely wrong, we'll meet in Davidson and we'll do like a 4-game series
Sure.
for, say, 2 in Saskatoon, 2 in Regina, whatever it is.
We don't have a ton of time, but could you speak to those mental checks of your players? I mean, these are sports fans watching this show, but they don't understand unless you've been in it. The work these kids have put in their entire lives, and to have it yanked away and have people just say, well, at least you didn't die. The resources that have been expended, the time, the hours, the literal sweat and tears, the money, to potentially have it yanked away. And it is for some. What's your take on that? And how are the kids dealing with it?
So, like, my take at first is, again, like, there's a lot of anger. And, the guys were fine, like, say, mentally, but they were mad. And then that turned into, like, I'll say sadness, but then also we're able to get out of that. And I think that our guys have been, mentally, they've been pretty good until about a month or 2 ago. And that's when, as like a head coach and even some of my position coaches, we're starting to get some text messages from guys where, like, hey, coach, like I've been sleeping too much. I'm not in a good rhythm. I'm not following a good schedule. There's been some certain things that popped out of different athletes in regards to, like, all of a sudden being, diagnosed with being bipolar or being depressed because they don't know if they, what to do with themselves and there's no structure. And, I'd say in the last 2 months here, like it's really started to kind of pop up. And then especially in the last couple of weeks, I know, like, for myself, we had a team meeting and asked guys to text me. And, it really became apparent that, it's a good thing that we're reaching out now. I wish I would have did it even more aggressively earlier because they definitely need something and they're missing that structure. They're missing being with the boys. They're missing having that daily interaction. And especially when it comes to being like an athlete, just the structure of the day-to-day life. And, it's also immediately taken away, right? So it's been hard on them, more than I thought it was.
Well, good for you for doing the mental health check-ins. I'm not sure how many teams are doing that. And I'm just saying, not playing is one thing. If you're of an age, you're going to come back. But if your career ended because of a virus. And there's some question now as to how those restrictions were met or, how they came up with them. It would be very hard to take. All our careers end at some time, Scott, as you know. But to have this be the reason would be very tough to take, and I just hope our viewers think about that. Now, you got a list in front of you. What are we talking about? What did you come in here today? You've answered all my questions. What do you want to say?
Well, what I want to talk about is just supporting nonprofits during this time.
Yeah.
For us, the Regina Thunder and other nonprofit groups, it's a crucial time because there is a need for us to be around and also to play football, but also be there to support these young athletes and even our volunteers and coaches like myself. We want to make sure our organizations are still around. And to do that, you need the funding, right, and the financial stability of it. And so for us, without having a season, you're losing the gate money, you're losing the sponsors that they might not even be doing as a business community. They might not be doing as well either, or doing as well either because of the COVID pandemic, and not be able to have that surplus of money that they normally would give. So really, right now for us, no season, no sponsors, no gate revenue, no sports dinner, no selling of tables, no selling things like that. We've really had to find different ways to pivot around. And we even did a can pickup thing. I forgot the name.
You came to my house, a bottle drive.
Absolutely, a big ball drive. Even brought my boys.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we made quite a bit of money off that. It was amazing.
You got to do it again. Yeah.
We should do it again.
Yeah.
But the one thing that we're going to do, because we can't have a sports dinner for the second year in a row, is that we're going to do a online auction, and you can find the website link through our webpage, reginathunder.ca. And with the silent auction, it's going to go live March 15th to the 19th. You can go check out all the items right now, and there's some unique things. I was excited about this concept. I was kind of a little bit worried about what it was going to look like. But now after seeing the packages and what's available there's some amazing things. And if you love sports, or if you love exploring, or if you love going out for dinners and stuff, I think there's something for everybody.
Awesome.
So there's right now there's a Ray Lewis helmet autographed with a certificate of authentication from Gordon McCrory that was donated to us. So I think that'll be a hot ticket item. There's the Rod Knows Bow package.
We're doing it.
We're doing it, absolutely. There's a
Yeah.
Bo Levi Mitchell football, and then we're also going to get an autograph book from yourself, and hopefully some clothing.
And a hat and a mug, everything. Yeah.
Maybe even a face-to-face
Oh my God.
handshake.
Can you imagine?
But
You guys play the Colts and Medicine Hat, and me and Bo will come and flip the coin and kick off or something.
Absolutely.
What do you say?
100%. We won't let them know that you're there. And then we'll just have
He
you trot
wouldn't come
out.
if he knew I was there.
We'll put you in disguise. You can be all thundered up, and also just whip it off and surprise them.
Sorry to interrupt. Continue.
So there's some sport memorabilia things there, but the one that kind of caught my eye was this Explore Saskatchewan package, where Shore Co-ops donates some gift certificates for gas, car wash. Then also with that, we got a picnic basket that I'm sure is very nice. And some meats donated by Italian Star Deli. And then also Tourism Saskatchewan, I believe, or the Saskatchewan Parks and Recreation donated a weekend pass as well. So if you want to get out of here and go have some fun with your family, there's a unique package that way. And then another big one for me, I thought was pretty cool, is with the lead auto body, getting a detailing done, especially with the weather it is right now during the springtime. So I think there's something for everybody. And just go check it out. You can see them all right now.
ReginaThunder.ca?
You betcha.
All right. This is awesome. Let's get you that stuff. Anything else, Scott?
Other than that, thanks a lot for having us on, and also the people watching. I really appreciate the support that we've seen during this time of need. We've done a few things here, and a 50-50 with the Hilltops. And also the Valkyries and the Riot, and we've had some great support by the community with that. And I think it's the one thing I've always appreciated about Regina and Saskatchewan is just the people and their willingness to volunteer and also give back. And that's sort of what we do. And I really appreciate everything that they've done.
Best place in the world. That's why we never left, my friend. Yeah. All right, Scotty, thanks for reaching out, and good luck, and we'll be chatting with you soon.
Sounds good.
Guys, are we going to a commercial or going right into Claire? Okay, we'll take a timeout. When we come back, CTV TSN's Claire Hanna joins us to discuss International Women's Day.